Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the show. Glad you're here with me today. Looking forward to diving into part 2 of our Cabral HouseCalls. As always, answering your questions each and every weekend. Really a pleasure to be able to spend a little time with you on this podcast and really hear what our community has to say. I always say that not every question is obviously going to apply to you. However, the issue may come up with you in the future, and if not, I'm almost guaranteeing you will know a friend or a family member or some loved one who's going to chat with you about an issue that they're having, and you can then relate it back to the show where you heard that this may work, or this is the lab to run, or here's the protocol to look into, et cetera, et cetera. So that is why, again, I truly believe this, is that every house has to have one health coach. That's my honest opinion because, listen, where else are you going to be able to get this information? Meaning like for your home. So they don't teach it in school, okay? If you become a medical doctor, you're not going to learn about natural health. You'll learn about acute-based health. You'll learn about pharmaceuticals. And again, that's good as well, right? We need that, but you're certainly not going to learn about everyday nutrition and eating and all those good things. Like, how are your kids going to learn it? If you're taking care of your parents, trying to help them, how are they going to learn it? Someone needs to know, right? So it's my opinion, if we can have a health coach or we can have an integrative health practitioner in every home, how amazing would that be? I think there'd be a whole lot less medication. I think there'd be a whole lot more healthy people. It's just my opinion, but I really do believe that that is the case. So I'm doing my part, trying to really answer your questions here on the weekends. Always do feel free to write in. They're answered about 8 weeks or so after you do write in, somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks typically. And of course, daily questions can be asked at cabralsupportgroup.com, which is our free Facebook community group. All right, let's get right into the questions. I love being able to get as many as possible in within our 22-minute or so timeline. So let's answer some questions. All right, the first one is from Jen. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm interested in your thoughts on a good catecholamine support supplement. I've considered Procite I and have experienced fatigue, apathy, and lack of focus, poor memory, decreased libido, and exhaustive depression. Would love to know your thoughts and what you would recommend. Thank you so much. All right, well, she's looking for catecholamine support, which is typically that she's looking for some type of HPA axis, which is the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or basically, she's looking for some type of adrenal-based support. Now, here's what I like to do. I'm always an advocate of the old saying, don't guess test. If you're able to run the stress hormones mood metabolism test at equilibriumnutrition.com, can't recommend that enough. Not only will you get your data on whether you're low cortisol or high cortisol, you'll also find out how the sex hormones are doing. How's your DHEA? Because that balances cortisol. How's your testosterone? Is that why you're feeling a little bit low libido? Or what's going on with the low estrogen maybe, or low progesterone, or both, right? So that's what I'd recommend. It also will look at your thyroid. I can't recommend the lab enough. I mean, I run it twice a year. I mean, that's how important I think it is. I don't want to wait 12 months also for my hormone levels to be checked, right? And I know that my doctor is simply, I mean, there's the thing with PCPs, they're going to be like, well, why do you want to know what your hormones are? Well, it's like, well, why wouldn't you want to know what your hormones are? That's always that's what I want my rebuttal to be, is like, why wouldn't I want to know? So just for me, I mean, this is not what you should do, but I just don't. I like my PCP. I've known him for 20 years now. He's a good guy. If there was anything like acute-based issue, I'd certainly love to talk with him about it. But for me, I just run all my own labs. I mean, I know I'm a doctor, so I can do that. And I'm not saying that you should do that, but it's just, don't expect your PCP to do non-PCP things. That's the only thing. Like, people write in all the time, so frustrated with their doctor. Listen, it's not that your doctor's job is not to know about nutrition or supplements or exercise or stress reduction or toxin removal or any of these things. So they're just going to kind of downplay it. We teach this actually in our new IHP course at Mastery. But anyway, let's get back to your question, Jen. I'm getting way too much off topic. So run the lab. That's number one. That's what I would recommend. Run the big five if you can ever run the big five labs. That's certainly what I would love you to do. But besides that, we have a product called Adrenal Energy Support, and that's for people that need more energy. Then we have one that is good for nighttime, especially for calming kind of a racing mind, for calming that body that can't get into a nice deep sleep, and that's called Adrenal Soothe. So oftentimes people will take Adrenal Energy Support 2 at breakfast and 2 at lunch, and then they'll take 2 to 3 Adrenal Soothe at night with dinner. So again, I can't give you exact recommendations, but certainly we use those products all the time, ship them all around the world, and they are incredibly popular. So Jen, hopefully that helps. Cheryl's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. My husband, 53 years old, has had rheumatoid arthritis for nearly 25 years and has also had Sjogrens syndrome for many years. He has recently been diagnosed with COPD, even though he has never smoked or even been around secondhand smoke. His doctors are baffled. Could the COPD be related to the RA and Sjogrens? Is it possible to reverse the symptoms of the COPD, helping to have him start working on the RA, etc. ASAP? Thank you for all you do. Okay, so there's a relation between all of them. And again, one of my good friends, my colleagues, a client of mine is a world-renowned pulmonologist, like one of the best in the world. And he works specifically, he is a specialist, one of the biggest specialists in the world. People fly in from all over to see him. And he works with COPD. And for those that aren't familiar, it's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Now, it's typically for people that smoke, they typically get that and many other issues. Smoking it's easily one of the worst things that you could do. Smoking is breathing in smoke into your lungs, which is a known carcinogen, which 1,000 plus X, even more than that, factor for cancer. It's not ideal. It's not a good thing, right? So here's the thing, though. COPD is an inflammatory lung disease. So it's an inflammatory lung disease. You know what arthritis is? An inflammatory disease. Sjogrens, it's inflammatory. And I know a lot of people that get Sjogrens after they get RA. Could it be the medication? Maybe. Could it be that a lot of people are also on Prilosec or an acid blocker that get Sjogrens? Maybe. And also, keep in mind that one of the reasons why people get RA, I think I mentioned this yesterday, is sometimes they have an H. pylori infection. Sometimes they have candida overgrowth, SIBO, etc. And they have so much digestive-based issues, they get put on an acid blocker. My recommendation is this. Whenever someone is not doing well, you don't have to run them with Equilibrium Nutrition, but it's open sourced. It's there for you. But here's the thing. Run the Big Five. Figure out what is going on with your body. Why are you in this state? Why do you have COPD if you don't even smoke? This person has so much inflammation in their body, and the job is not to treat the inflammation. The job is not even to treat the disease. The job is to figure out what's causing the inflammation. What's causing the disease? Take the thorn out of the elephant's foot rather than putting it in a cast, right? That's the thing. Yeah, someone has a hurt foot, take the thorn out rather than put it in a cast. That's the recommendation. That's what natural health does. So that's my recommendation. Cheryl, hopefully that helps. Leslie's up next. Dear Dr. Cabral, I've been on your 21-day detox, and I'm just finishing going on to do the Fat Velocity program. The reasons are varied. I have a lot of general toxicity complaints. I'm experiencing a lot of release from the detox and plan to do the quarterly detox in the future. Perhaps even a 14-day detox after 8 or 12 weeks of the Fat Velocity. I have one question. The thing that is difficult to get away from here is chlorine in water. We live on a spring water system, which has many benefits, but it must be treated as it has been tested to have E. coli. My partner puts chlorine bleach in it every 12 weeks or so since we have lived here. I have seen my face get puffy and a lot of sagging and aging happening very rapidly. I've always been a low-starch eater, eat lots of greens and veggies, no processed foods. But I'm still suffering from toxicity. Thankful for the detox, seen lots of benefits, but just concerned about the water we bathe in, cook with, and drink with. Leslie, thank you for writing in. So happy to hear that you are doing well on the Equilibrium Nutrition Detox and that you're going to do the Fat Velocity program. So many people doing the Fat Velocity program, and I'm thrilled about that. That was a program we've been doing in Boston for, decades now, and I was super excited to be able to do that in a virtual way online for people all around the world. It comes with a course. The course is completely free. It's a $99 value. You get it with Fat Velocity, with the Fat Velocity formula. So it's based on dozens of clinical scientific studies. So here's the nice thing about chlorine. It's not as bad as you think. Now, it's bad if you drink it. There's no doubt about that. It's bad if you breathe it in. Sure. But here's the nice thing is you can remedy this by taking the water that you have in your tap and putting it through something like a Berkey filter. And you can see that. I know that this podcast is evergreen. You should go back, in my opinion, listen to the previous podcasts. And the reason is that, again, like the sources, people's health doesn't change. Like it's always been the same for many, many years. In the future, I think I'm probably going to make the page stephencabral.com/resources. So the water filter will be there. But right now, Leslie, you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcasts and type in water filter, and you will get my best water filter. There are so many that you can choose from. I mean, the easiest one, just countertop, is a Berkey water filter. So let's see. That might even be, sometimes the companies give me coupon codes as well, which of course I want to pass along to you. But let's just check it out. stephencabral.com/podcast. I'll do it with you for a second. All right, we're going to scroll down to that first box. We're going to type in water filter. Okay, let's see. It's going to give you all the times that I've mentioned it. Oh, well, it will definitely be on the holiday gift ideas on episode 1399. That's some of my best recommendations. And then if we go, it's pretty far back. So let me just keep going through these right now. It's not going to be on a house call. The spring water is a great one, of course, but you don't want to buy spring water because you already have that going on. The shower filter that I was going to recommend to you is on episode 307, and water filter is on 286. Okay, so you see the water filters on 286 and 307. You'll see the shower filters. But honestly, if you go to episode 1399 for all my healthy holiday ideas, that's kind of a resource page in and of itself. And it should be right there. It's going to be $100 or so. Yeah, it's right there. Berkey water filter. All right. So there we go. Feel free to check any of those out. But honestly, Leslie, the easy thing to do is this. You can run it through a Berkey filter. You can put on a shower filter like the one that I use, or you can put on a bath filter as well. And you'll be able to take out that chlorine. It's a multi-filter based system, but charcoal is one of those, carbon, but you'll be able to see it within there as well. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. I know there's a little cost to it. I mean, there's a cost to everything, right? So, but for $300, you'll be able to filter your water, your shower, and your bath for 6 months. So, and then you'll have to replace the filters after that. Obviously, if you're doing them daily. So that would be a cost of, well, actually, that's an upfront cost. And then the replacements are going to be maybe like $50. So for maybe $100 a year, which is like, $10 or so a month, you'll get clean water. And that's like 33 cents a day. I always like to, I rationalize it in my own head. I don't know if you're like me, but I'm like, all right, well, what is the cost of that? 33 cents a day. Okay, well, that's less than a bottle of water. So if I buy a bottle of sparkling water, like some nice Mountain Valley in a glass bottle or some nice Pellegrino, it's like $2, right? So now I'm getting all my water out of my regular water for 33 cents. So it's definitely worth it. All right. There is a little upfront cost though. Lisa's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Hope you and your family are staying safe and healthy. Thank you so much for still doing your podcast during this pandemic. I truly appreciate it. My question is in regards to my son who has PANS. I appear that killing anything in his body just flares him up so bad. Despite doing the children's protocol numerous times, adding liver support, adrenal support, DNS, and other wonderful supplements from you, I'm struggling to get my son back to baseline. Our doctor suggests I try Sovereign Silver with him. I've get conflicting information in regards to silver. Some say they would never give it to their child, especially one with poor genetics, because you can't detox the silver. I know you use it in your mold protocol. I imagine that if you use it in your protocols, then it's safe. Why is there conflicting information about silver? Thank you so much. Longtime listener, Lisa. Lisa, thank you for writing in. Really appreciate that. And I've actually been answering this the last couple of weeks. Lisa, your question came in on April 4th. So obviously, I just want everyone to know there's about a 6-week to 8-week lag time because I answer your questions in the order they come in. So, okay, I'm going to go back. I use Sovereign Silver as well. So again, I don't know if I was talking about this show or yesterday. The shows blend together, as you might imagine, after a while, even for me. But I recommend all sorts of companies outside of Equilibrium Nutrition. We don't make Sovereign Silver. We'll never make we'll never make nano silver particles, which is what they are. It's what we specialize in, right? So I go with a company that specializes in it. Well, anyway, it was just in a couple episodes ago. If you're a listener to the Cabral Concept, you saw me do this on a Friday review. Let me see if I can find this though. Okay. I mean, just like you, I just go to stephencabral.com/podcast and I use the search box. Honestly, there is today's 1570, right? Episode 1570 is today, right? So I need to search through 1,570 shows. So I'm just going to type in Sovereign Silver and we'll see if it pops up. There are no results for Sovereign Silver. Well, that's probably because I spelt it wrong. Let's just type in silver. Let's see how many shows we get. All right, episode 1562. That was a house call. And then it was right there. All right, colloidal silver research. That's why I wrote colloidal silver, which is what it is. So you can see my show on this on episode 1533. I hope you tuned into that. Again, colloidal silver has been shown to help with viruses. It actually helps to destroy viruses. Clinically proven, by the way. We use it for our daughters with conjunctivitis. We use it for many other things. And yes, we are not afraid to use it for short-term use. So again, I can't tell you what to do. I can't, again, diagnose, treat, cure any diseases. That's not what my job is. Only people that can say that, make claim to it, are medical doctors, MDs. And anyway, we work at the underlying root causes anyway. So what can I share with you? Well, here's the thing. For a case like yours, here's what I do. I go at the detox level. So I look for H. pylori, I look for parasites, I look for fungal overgrowth, I look for SIBO. And then what I do is I begin those protocols and I do them at the lowest, smallest dose, right? So because I don't want a lot of these die-off reactions. So that's how I do it. And then I titrate up. If I ever start to see any tics come back, or I see any type of bloating, or I see any learning disabilities start to creep back in or get worse, then I just pull back the dosage again. I actually stop it for 3 days and then I titrate back up to what they can handle. And then I add in the next product. That's basically what we do. And then we'll add on after that, we'll do the mold-based protocol. We'll do the heavy metal detox. And that's what we do. We keep cleaning the body, supporting the liver, using things like sulforaphane. I'm a huge fan of sulforaphane. It's in the daily nutritional support. I mean, again, you can go with another company as well, and you can look for a sulforaphane product there. B vitamins, B12. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of methyl donors like trimethylglycine. And then, yes, I have no problem with Sovereign Silver, and I use it with my girls, my 2 daughters, and have for many, many years. You should do what you feel comfortable with. And also, you can start at the smallest dose possible if you choose to. Again, your choice. And also, I don't use it, well, I've never used it for any of my daughters for more than a week. But again, they weren't on a long-term protocol with it. So you might use it for 4 weeks. And I really wouldn't go probably too much after 6 weeks. So now you can use it for long-term, they say, but I wouldn't recommend it. Why? Because your body isn't in need of non-nanoparticle or nanoparticle silver. It's just not, right? So that's the thing. And what the silver does, it actually helps to chelate. So as long as your liver is doing its job, detoxifying, well, you're going to be able to rid it from your body. You obviously, you don't want it to build up. That is also why you have to use good quality products. You shouldn't use any colloidal silver. You should use a quality brand. I'm always recommending that, quality brand. All right, next question, probably the last question. It's a long one. It's from Ella. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you so much for all you do. You've given so many people hope again. I'll try to keep this short. I'm 44 years old, a woman. I did the Big 5 last spring, started the CBO in September, did a lot of summer travel, cut out gluten, dairy and egg since then, developed pain on the right side of my abdomen and waist area, had an ultrasound that showed nothing, then a CAT scan that showed benign cyst on my liver, but showed nothing that could be the cause of pain. Let's see, it seems to travel sometimes up my right lower back, sometimes my right waist, seems to come in my gut, sometimes it's near my rib cage, sometimes combined. My doctors have no idea what it could be, and I've run other tests to look for, well, potentially coronavirus. I know you always say that there's always someone out there going through the same thing as you. Have you ever heard of anything like this? I'm afraid to work out because I don't want to make it worse. I'm afraid to go to the doctor because of coronavirus. I don't want to go to doctor during these scary times. Also, my tongue still has a coating on it. And hair loss, which might be genetic. I have a lot of waking up during the night. I still do the daily foundation protocol level 1 at the moment. I'm doing the immune boosting protocol on top of it. Thank you so much for your time and listening. You're the best. Thank you, Ella. You're the best. Appreciate that. So here's what we want to do. Sure, it could be the benign cyst on your liver. And I mean, if there's literally a bump on your liver, then it might be pressing on something and causing that pain. However, if you were in our practice, my health coaches, myself, would ask you questions like, when does it hurt the most? Is it directly after a meal, a couple hours after a meal? Does it ever hurt you the first half of the day? Or is it only after you start to have some whole food meals, like later in the day? This begins to tell us if it might be more GI-based. I have an inkling, Ella, but I don't know that this might be more GI-based. The right side of your waist is multiple things. So it's where your stomach empties into your small intestine. It's called the duodenum or the gastric valve. And that is where there's a lot of, let's call it, food transactions going on. Your liver's dumping bile in to meet that acidic-based food chyme, or chyme, as people like to say, but it's really chyme. So there's a lot going on there. There's enzymes being brought over to that specific area as well, pancreatic enzymes. And sometimes you'll get spasms there. Sometimes you'll actually feel the pain, but it may not be that. Now, a little further lower, more near, well, about 1 inch to the left and about 1 inch down, right around there, is your ileocecal valve. That means after the foods travel through all 21 to 23 feet or so of your small intestine, well, now it's its job to move out of the small intestine and into the cecum, which is the first part of the large intestine, okay? So now the large intestine has a valve there. It's called the ileocecal valve. Well, sometimes there's bacterial buildup there. There are spasms of the ileocecal valve, and that can be an issue. Also, that part of the, colon is called the ascending colon. And now food often gets trapped at the bottom of it because it has to work uphill against gravity. So there's all sorts of different reasons why there might be a little constipation there. There might be some spasms there. And since your colon is in basically the middle of that body right there on the right-hand side, that's the cecum, the first part of that, it could be radiating pain back towards the right kidney. So there's lots to look at in that particular area. There's your liver, there is your right kidney, there's your gallbladder is more towards the middle, and then there is the duodenum, there's the cecum, so there's a good amount to look over there. And what I would say is if you start to feel symptoms more towards and after whole food meals, like let's say you do a smoothie in the morning, you feel nothing because that's easy to digest. It doesn't take a lot of work to do that. Okay, well, let's say you feel it kind of like after lunchtime and beyond, very well could be GI based, right? It could also be blocked bile duct. I mean, we don't exactly know, but if you've had your scans, I would simply do this. I know that you did the CBO protocol, but I would make sure there's no constipation. I would make sure there's no loose stool, that you're having 1 to 2 bowel movements per day, and continue to go from there. So you can always run more lab tests. You can always do other protocols. My goal would be to just make sure that you're not constipated, that this isn't GI related. If it is GI related, I would say good. That's a good thing, right? Because now it's not organ related and necessarily like the liver, and we can work on moving those bowels. Maybe we do some magnesium citrate powder at night. We do some psyllium husk powder or advanced fiber support, and we also do the alkalizing vitamin C upon waking, right? Like get those bowels moving. Maybe that's what we need to do. I don't know. I can't give you the exact answer because I'm not there working with you specifically, but I think we gave you a lot to work on and to go off of, and so hopefully that was helpful. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I appreciate you. Hopefully these answers to these questions were helpful. And of course, we'll be back each and every weekend answering your questions on the Cabral concept. Take care. Have an amazing day. And be sure to tune in tomorrow for our Motivation and Mindset Monday episode. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stevencabral.com/resources.